Good morning. My name is Laura Imes, and my Hopi name is Hunwensi. I am watering cloud plant from the village of Sumobawi. So this morning, I want to introduce Raymond. Raymond will be sharing his story of his sister who was missing and murdered. Raymond Lee's sister, Cynthia Williams, was kidnapped and murdered in late 2016. Two people, Sharon Marie Clark and Jeffrey Scott Williams, were convicted in federal court of charges related to her death. Since that time, Raymond has dedicated his life to ending substance abuse and violence that plague the Colorado River Indian Reservation, and for being a voice for his sister and the many others who have fallen victims of such horrible crimes. Through his life experiences and challenges, Raymond has committed his life to helping others survive circumstances and violence, and to helping others in the face of adversity. So today is Raymond's first time speaking engagement in an audience to your capacity. So if you can all help me welcome Raymond, please. Lastly, I do want to share that his story might trigger some of you if we have survivors in our audience or law enforcement who's responding to these kind of crimes. You may reach out to me or any of our staff if you need to.
Good morning. First, I'd like to just give all glory and honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you for being here with us this morning. My presentation with you today is not only about my sister who was missing and murdered, but also advocacy. Advocacy provided to support families of violence and empowering ourselves and others in positive, life-changing experiences. My name is Raymond Meza. I am Mojave and Paiute from the Colorado River Indian community. I am the third of four children. I am the only son. I'm a husband, father, grandpa, advocate for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and people. Part of the empowerment is to be transparent about my own experience, such as my run-in with gangs, drugs, alcohol, jail, and prison. I believe it's important to share this because, for one, we are all God's children, and there is someone out there just like me, in which our experiences are life-changing in a positive way for ourselves, our children, our family, and our communities. Our family originates with my mother, Dorita Holmes, who is a single mother of 3 girls and one boy. I am joined today by my wife, Johnny, who has supported my family line along the way, and my son, Isaiah. My family and I are honored to be here today to share our story of our sister, Cynthia Williams, to educate us to be better at communication, collaboration, and assisting families who has or had a missing and or murdered loved one. It is not always about justice, because we often see justice in different ways. This is only our story, but I am certain there are many who share similar stories. Our sister Cynthia was born April 11, 1974. Her parents are the late Gilbert Lee Williams of Old Arabi and Hopi. My mother, Dorita Holmes of Parker, Arizona. Tragically, her father was also murdered in 1988. Cynthia has 3 siblings on her mother's side and other siblings on her father's side. My sister Cindy was a smart and artistic individual. She was beautiful. Everybody always commented on how beautiful she was everywhere she went. She had a warm heart and a sense of humor, and she became a mother at a young age of 17. And as the oldest sibling, she also played the role of our second mother. We originally came from Northern California and moved to Arizona in 1990. During this time, my sister Cynthia, she got pregnant and stayed behind. And after the birth of her first child, she moved to Arizona to escape her abusive relationship with the father and his family. Since then, every relationship she was in resulted in verbal abuse and physical abuse. During this time, after she relocated to Arizona, she started experimenting with drugs. She started hanging around the wrong crowd, and after years of drug use, she moved back to California with her new boyfriend, who eventually became her husband and the father of her 2 daughters. She was court-ordered into rehab, where she became sober for a few years. And during this time, when she became sober, she enrolled into college. And where she graduated top of her class, earning a certificate as a medical assistant from UEI College in Loma Linda, California. But trying to juggle school, a new marriage, and sobriety with very little life skills, it proved to be too much for her. And she eventually fell back into drugs. She moved back to Parker while her husband and daughter stayed back in California. After her divorce, she continued into her old ways and found comfort with her old friends. Her divorce really hurt her. She became more distant, and the drug use caused tension among the family. And by this time, her kids, they were all older. They all had families of their own, children of their own, and they seen what she was into. Our family believes it is important to share this because we all experienced similar events in Cynthia's life. She just didn't have the same opportunities as many of us to turn her life around. Alcohol and drugs are wicked and they're of the devil. I want to recognize my sister Cynthia's children. She has 6 beautiful children and 3 grandchildren who miss and love her daily. They are all learning how to live without their mother, but keeping her in memory. They are also present almost at every event. And as a matter of fact, the youngest daughter, her birthday is around March 5th, which is the National MMIW&M Awareness Day. This incident of her mother and the significance of MMIW&M Awareness Day will forever be in the memory and a part of her life. First, we celebrate my sister Cindy's memory, and then we celebrate my niece's birthday. On March 7, 2016, my little sister Lisa received a phone call from my older sister Cindy, asking her to pick her up at a friend's house upriver. And this was the last time we would hear my sister's voice. On March 8th, around 7 a.m., a body was found in the canal of the Lower Valley. And my little sister called me telling me a body was found in the river. I assured her it wasn't our sister because the information was coming from individuals recovered from substance abuse or substance use. It came from NAB. My conscience will not let up, so I went to the location. The body would remain unidentified, and at this time the FBI were called in and they began trying to identify the deceased female. They began asking locals around town, showing pictures of the female with identifying marks, just trying to identify her. Rumors began and spread that it was our sister. We didn't believe it because we just heard from her a day ago. We just talked to her a day ago. We then began trying to contact her and were unable to. We began searching for her at a friend's house, and no one seen or heard from her since March 7th. March 9th, we went to the police station. I went to the police station, inquiring about the body that was found, and told them our sister was missing. They were unable to give us information and told us an officer will be in contact with us later or in the morning. You know, and you may know, that this type of information to the family who have loved ones missing or a suspected homicide is more traumatic than you think. To be told to wait is excruciating pain. It's rough. On March 10th, 2016, the day our lives were forever changed. What was the day we found out our sister was murdered? The next excruciating pain is keeping these events from my mother. My mom didn't even know about these rumors. Me and my little sister waited for her, trying to protect her. Then the FBI notifies my mother without family support around her, and they show her pictures of my sister. This was very traumatic to my mom, and as a family, we have to pick up these pieces. Up until today, we are standing for my mom because she continues to envision the pictures, but in a blur. While this was happening, as a brother, I tried everything to protect my mom and my sister from seeing the state that my sister was in those pictures. I was too late. The picture was already shown to my mom, and until this day, she does not remember what the picture was, and she believes she blocked it from her memory. As a result of our experiences, my family and I began hosting awareness marches, walks, events, etc. Because we did not receive immediate support or guidance during our experiences, and we find other families should have support and guidance, whether at a community level, but most importantly, through the justice system, from investigation and through prosecution. Cynthia's death affected so many people in the community. Although her murder was still being investigated, we all knew it was drug-related. Meth was and continues to run rampant among our reservation as well as neighboring reservations. This called for communities to stand together and bring awareness to this problem. Our community, other communities were dealing with major drug problems and wanted to join in and bring awareness as well as demanding justice for our sister. Many people gathered together to support and plan the first community march that was known as Let It Be the Last. These communities got together to let the world know, as well as the drug world and her killers, that drug use will not be tolerated and is not our ways. To gain trust of our community, this is my own opportunity to be transparent of my own life experiences. As mentioned earlier, I was a drug user, alcoholic, and I served time. I felt it was important to share this because many people also experience similar situations. Once I did share this, it was amazing and overwhelming how many people began showing up, even changing their lives as well to be drug and alcohol free. Everybody wants help. As Indigenous people, we believe there is always hope and opportunity for a change of life without being judged. As we know, only one person makes judgments of our lives, and we know in judgment days. This is what I believe while on Mother Earth. I want to be able to present, share, and create opportunities for others to join our efforts. During the same time of bringing awareness to our community, we are continuing to deal with the investigation and preparing for federal prosecution. Rumors were still going around about the death of our sister. Rumors that it was cartel related. Rumors that she was an informant working with the local task force. Any and every information people gave us, we took to the FBI and local tribal police. Because it was drug related, people felt uncomfortable and would not speak with police. They felt more uncomfortable, or they felt more comfortable speaking with us. The day after we found out about my sister's murder, we got together as a family and made reward posters and gathered our own money as reward for any information about her murder. We flooded social media as well as radio stations and eventually got on ABC News in Phoenix. We even paid neighboring newspapers to have a reward poster advertised. The reward started off as $5,000 from our family, and a week later, the tribes offered to pay the $5,000, and they added $5,000. And then after that, the tribal police station, they added another $5,000, which totaled $15,000 in reward for any information and prosecution. During the investigation, our family stayed in close contact with FBI agents and the lead investigator. Because she was found naked, it was considered a SORNA case. So SORNA tribal investigator was also working on the case. We all kept information we found close to us, not sharing it with anybody other than the FBI. And the FBI as well spoke only with the family about certain information. We kept the tribal police and the tribal council out of the investigation as we wanted to ensure information was being shared to one agency only and not being repeated inaccurately. As a family, we had to remind ourselves we had to trust the system. And I tell you, this is the hardest to do, as we have had many experiences in our community where families feel they did not receive the kind of communication we had with the investigators and the prosecutors. All in all, we did not give up on justice. Because we did not give up and working with the FBI and Arizona U.S. Attorney's Office, we did get justice. Unfortunately, most families do not experience what we have. 8 months after Cynthia's murder, the FBI informed the family that they would be issuing and executing arrest warrants for the murder of our sister. I celebrated this news, and I kept my promise to the community by sharing a single picture on social media. And on that picture, I just wrote the word victory across it. Because we got it. After the warrants were executed, they announced that they had arrested Sharon Clark and Jeffrey Williams for the murder of our sister. After that, the FBI kept us up to date on every court hearing and every step of their federal case. In December of 2017, Jeffrey Williams was sentenced to 25 years. In January of 2018, Sharon Clark was sentenced also to 25 years. Jeffrey is serving out his sentence in Lompoc Federal Prison. Sharon is serving her sentence out in a federal medical center in Texas. Our experience is a demonstration of perseverance and trust to those all involved in the success of justice. Other families continue to help and support others who have loved ones who is missing and or murdered. For example, unfortunately, we experienced another relative missing and believe she was murdered. In August of 2017, our cousin Molina Shagiazi went missing. She was found in September laying in a shallow grave near a field in the Parker Valley. Her death encouraged her family to seek out our help in getting justice and answers for her death. There were many questions left unanswered and didn't make any sense to the family, and they are still searching for justice. This led to both families collaborating together to create a grassroots group called Stand Strong Together. This is a community awareness group against drugs and violence that is collaborating with the MMIW&M groups. Today, we continue to fight for families and survivors The outcome of the deaths of both Cynthia and Shaggy have changed all our lives. It has led to the families joining different outreach programs, not only in our community, but expanding statewide and also in California. Their stories are being told and shared to help other families on how to deal with their tragedies, such as what steps to take and where to begin to search for answers for justice. We may not be within a professional organization, but we have experiences, we have passion and commitment to support families. Cynthia's death affected us all in different ways. We are more aware that it can happen to anyone at any time. It happens more often than people think. It made us realize that speaking out about it is important. More people are involved each year, and awareness is expanding. As a community, we create stronger families which strengthen our voice and efforts. We would like to share some words of advice. Again, coming from our experiences, we understand a majority of the conference participants are law enforcement that came from tribal and state agencies, but also to our families and survivors of MMIW&M people. Our words of advice: don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Get loud. Be a voice. Never give up on hope. Listen to your instincts. Pray consistently. Walk in faith. Don't give up and don't give in to negative energy. People will always say negative things and make negative remarks about your loved ones. Just don't let it break you. There's always going to be victim bashing and victim blaming. Every information is good information. Our loved ones is worth the fight. Specifically to our justice personnel, little information is important to share with the family. Even if it is, we are continuing to investigate, or we haven't forgotten. Work with the tribal police. They are present in our communities. We need to strengthen this relationship and build trust with our tribal police and programs. Be present at community awareness events. This will help gain the trust of our people and in the community. Work with grassroots organizations as families also request their assistance in searching, especially when an adult person goes missing. These are some advice as a family we would like to share that has helped us and or recognized areas of improvement to better help families of MMIW&M people. Our experiences with the FBI was amazing. They worked nonstop until the case was solved. Even though our story had a good ending, we are aware that others are not so fortunate. What we can suggest to others, such as law enforcement, would be to keep information close to those who are trustworthy. Offer a reward, even if it doesn't generate any leads. Families want to know and feel that their loved ones are important. Offering a reward makes them feel the importance of their loved one. It gives them hope and shows you are doing something to find your family member. Hold awareness meetings with the public. Inform the females and others of the dangers of certain areas. Teach them how to scream, how to defend themselves. And lastly, alert the public of any and all dangers that are among the community, such as assaults, rapes, murders that are happening. If the public is not aware, they cannot prepare, they can't protect their families. We recognize gangs, drugs, and alcohol use as a problem. Having services such as treatments and other services will be helpful. Do not be judgmental because we are experiencing something deeper than what we show on the outside. In closing, this is our story. This is only one story of missing and murdered. efforts assisted in judicial accountability, allowing our family to acknowledge that these murderers are sitting in prison. We may not have received life sentences, but they are convicted murderers and they are off the streets. We agreed not to push for the death penalty because we as a family did not want to become murderers ourselves. Thank you for listening to our stories. I also want to thank NCJTC, Laura, for including our story to share with you. Thank you.
I want to thank Raymond. I know this was hard for him, and it took a lot for he and his family to bring this to everyone here and for us. So, and I appreciate the applause and the standing and respect that you gave him. So thank you for that. We seen